Let's take a break right now and talk about layers. What do you say? Layers, in my opinion, are one of the most powerful tools in Photoshop for controlling an image. Now, if you go way back in time, and I do with Photoshop, there were several versions of Photoshop when it first came out that didn't have layers. They had a canvas, and you painted on it, and you only had one undo. So if you made a mistake, and you did something else and realized you made a mistake, there was no recourse but to start all over again. Layers are an important part of the process because we can control the image non-destructively. I've got my layers panel over here, and I do have an image open just to give you an idea what's going on. I'm going to bring it up here, and I'll pull it down by clicking right there and dragging straight down. We have 4 layers and actually 1 background. You can have all kinds of layers. You can have video layers, adjustment layers, smart layers. You can have text or type layers. Now, when Photoshop first came out with layers, the maximum was 100. Now you can literally have thousands of layers, which means what? It means you can do anything your imagination wants to do, and there's very little limits. If we want to display a layer, this is pretty basic. You can come over here and click this Show Hide button right there, and you can see that is a type layer, and it says the Layers panel. I have 3 other layers. One's called blue, one's called green, and one's called red. Now, it looks like it's just changing color, but obviously it's because each one is exactly on top of the other. When you're working in layers for the first time, you control them by selecting them from the Layers panel. So I do have the blue layer selected. I do have my Move tool selected. I can come over here and click anywhere I want. It doesn't matter because that whole layer covers the dimensions of the area I'm working in. So if I click right here and drag, I can pull it down. Now if I go to green, I can do the same thing. I can click on red, but it's going to do the green. Layers are controlled from the Layers panel, but we will talk about a lot of shortcuts because the one thing I don't like to do is constantly come back over here to select what I want so that I can come over here and begin working. To create a new layer, you have a button for it right here. Click it, you have a new layer. Now the layer will appear above the layer that was selected when you click the button. If you don't like it where it is, you can drag it and move it anywhere you want, and you're waiting for that line to show up, and you let go, and it'll be more than glad to move it for you. If you don't want that layer anymore, you can delete it in one of several ways. So let me make 2 more of these. One way to delete a layer is very straightforward. You select it and you press the delete key. Now that's the delete key on a Macintosh keyboard, backspace key on a Windows keyboard. Same key, different name. Gone. There are some circumstances that we'll talk about where you can't delete a layer doing that, but for now, it works. Another way is to select the layer and click the trash can button, and it's gone. Another way to do it is to click on a layer, or maybe more than one layer, and drag it down on top of the trash can icon. There are 1 or 2 more ways. For example, if we go to our properties right here, delete layers up there too. There's a lot of different ways to create and or delete layers. Many times, though, we want to copy a layer, not create a new one. And that's a very easy thing to do too. The 2 most common ways are grab the layer you want to make a copy of and drag it down on top of the new icon. Whatever the name is, we'll have the word copy after it. Red copy. Let me go ahead and delete that one. The easiest way, in my opinion, to make a copy of a layer is use the shortcut. And that's Command on a Mac, Control in Windows, and the letter J. And that's a very quick way to do that. You'd be surprised how many times we copy layers. Let me go ahead and delete that one too. Throughout this course, we're going to be spending a lot of time in the Layers panel, obviously. So we're spending this chapter to get us used to what's going on here. Let's move on.